Ciao guys, welcome back to the channel. In the previous video I opened these two bottles, our Riesling Mosel, so the wine number 1, and the Barbera d'Asti, so the wine number 2. I explained what happens chemically when the wine is exposed to oxygen and recorded our day 1 baseline tasting. If you haven't watched that video first, I recommend starting there, because today we continue that experiment. Both bottles were resealed immediately after tasting, stored upright and kept in the same cool environment. No preservation systems, no vacuum pumps and no inner gas. Just the real-life storage conditions that happens in every restaurant or houses. Now let's see what happened with our day 2. Both the bottles, as we said, were stored in the same way overnight, and this is the first day where people usually start to wonder if things are changing. Alright, let's start with our Riesling Mosel, so the wine number 1. In my opinion, there's not much to say about the nose in terms of differences. There's a lot of citrus characters like lime and lemon, and a lot of green apple. Possibly the things that is more predominant, that is more present in this nose compared to yesterday, is this presence of vegetal characters. The palate to me is pretty much the same of yesterday as well. Thin body, lean texture, a lot of acidity, very fresh, very vertical, and a lot of citrusy notes in terms of flavors, but not so many differences. To me there's no differences at all compared to yesterday. But now let's move to our wine number 2, so the Barbera d'Asti. In terms of nose, here we have some differences. To me the intensity today is greater than yesterday. Also yesterday the nose was focused on these red and black fruits with some floral characters. Today is pretty much the same, but to me there's more spicy notes like tobacco leaf and forest flower possibly. Pretty much the same palate compared to yesterday in terms of structure, body, acidity and tannins. The wine hasn't changed compared to yesterday to me. Perfect guys, at this point I'm paying more attention than I normally would when casually drink wine, which is kind of the point behind this experiment. We'll see tomorrow with our day 3 and see if there's any changing in the wines. Day 3. This is usually where opinions start to split. Some people say wine is totally fine at this point, others say it's already past its best. Let's see what we've got. Wine number 1, the Riesling Mosel, has been open since 3 days now, and there are no signs of oxidation to me, just possibly the citrusy characters are less evident. More flinty and vegetal notes in terms of the nose compared to the previous days. Very similar palate to the other days as well, minor differences, but the acidity keeps the high level and the body is pretty lean, is pretty light. Possibly just less intensity to the palate in terms of aroma and flavors, but the wine doesn't show any sign of oxidation again, any fault characters. The guideline of the nose, the day 3, follows very well the day 2. So much more spicy characters, much more tobacco leaf, forest flowers, wet leaves and spices. The floral and fruity notes are still present in the wine, but just less intense. Difficult to spot any differences to the palate. Body, texture, tannins and acidity are pretty much the same in terms of levels. Aroma and flavors are very intact. No signs of oxidation. So if there are differences in terms of aromas to the nose, we cannot say the same in terms of the palate. So the wine number 2 to me keeps a nice consistency over these 3 days. I really like doing that day by day because it forces consistency. Same glasses, same setup and same order. It really helps you notice differences over time. Let's see tomorrow with day 4 if we can spot some differences, some evident differences in the glass. Alright guys, day number 4. At this point both bottles have been open for more than half week. So we start right away with our Riesling Mosel, so the wine number 1. Let's see what we got to the nose. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but this wine really doesn't show any significant changes in terms of nose. These pungent limey notes. A lot of green apple again, some flinty characters that possibly are more evident than yesterday, but not so much differences. To the palate, my perception of today is that this wine is just a little bit rounder compared to yesterday and the previous days, but same level of acidity, no signs of oxidations, but perfect intact flavors. Alright, let's move now to the Barbera d'Asti. No signs of oxidation to the nose. Again, more spicy characters, more tobacco leaves, forest floor, more dry flowers rather than fresh violet and rose as in the first days. So possibly here we can note some changes. Still vibrant to the palate, a lot of acidity, same level of tannins, no oxidative flavors, not evident differences to mention to the palate. This is where I think most people wouldn't ever consider drinking wine anymore, which makes this part especially interesting. As we can see, no significant changes in these wines. Let's see tomorrow. As 5 days after opening, same conditions, same routine. Possibly the wine starts losing some intensity in terms of flavors, but no signs of oxidations and pretty much the same clusters. No dry notes, no dry flowers or ginger-like aromas, almond. It's much more on the same citrusy notes and green apple. Pretty much the same palate to me. High vibrant acidity, lean body. Possibly the flavors, the intensity of flavors starts decreasing, but not so significantly. The oily texture is becoming more evident. We move to the Barbera, so the wine number 2. More spicy characters to the nose here. Again, tobacco leaf, forest floors. And today I get like a touch of black pepper aroma. Just in second hand, floral and fruity characters, and no signs of oxidation again. Same level of acidity and same perception of the tannins, just a little less intensity. No signs of oxidation again, so we cannot say that the quality is decreasing. The quality is still the same, is still pretty much the same. So even if you don't drink wine regularly, this kind of experiment really shows how time alone can affect what's in the bottle. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow for the day 6. Day 6, we are almost at the end of the experiment. That's wine number 1 on day 6. Today the nose is different. We don't have oxidized characters or faulty notes, just the wine is more neutral, less floral citrusy characters, less flinty notes. The nose is flatter, less complexity compared to the previous days. The perception of the acidity is lower. The oily texture that in the previous days was higher, today is less evident. And the aroma and flavors are much less pronounced compared to the previous days. Again, no oxidations, no faulty characters, just a wine that is less pronounced. We move now to wine number 2 on day 6. After 6 days, if we have to compare the two wines, this is slightly better in terms of nose. Like, we still have intensity, we still have a lot of spicy characters, less fruity and floral notes compared to the previous days, but I think this nose is slightly more present after 6 days compared to the wine number 1. Is it because it's a red wine and it contains tannins, more phenolics, the color pigments? Who knows it. Under palate with softer tannins and pretty much the same level of refreshing acidity. Here again, no signs of oxidations, less intensity of flavors and less precise characters compared to the previous days. But still, I think this wine after 6 days behaves slightly better compared to the white wine, so the wine number 1. At this point, the difference between day 1 and now feels much more noticeable. I'll see you tomorrow for our last day of tasting. Final day, day number 7. Both bottles have now been open for a full week, and we start wine number 1 after 7 days. This is not the nose we get the first days. The wine lost intensity, lost complexity, lost definition, and this nose doesn't represent the quality or the style of this wine after the opening or just after a few days. Still high acidity, but no precision of aromas and flavors, no great balance between the acidity and the rest of the components. The length of the flavors is much shorter than the previous days. And now the wine number 2, the Barbera d'Asti on day 7. This nose completely changed compared to the previous days. Much more tobacco, cigar box, forest floor, and dry flowers. The fruity characters, the fresh fruity and floral characters are much less evident. So we cannot say this wine is faulty. My opinion is that the nose of this wine represents what this bottle of wine could be in a few years. So this nose represents, in my opinion, the aging potential of this complexity. To the palate, no signs of oxidative characters, smooth tannins, more integrated acidity. So the style of the palate of this wine on day 7 to me could be an idea of what the palate of this wine could be in a few years. That officially completes the experiment. So what did we learn? First of all, wine absolutely does change after opening. Not all the wines change the same way. Not all the wine change at the same speed, for example in these two cases. Doing this over 7 days really shows how important time and storage are, especially if you're someone who doesn't finish a bottle in one night. If this was helpful or interesting, let me know in the comments. Tell me which wines you want me to test next, or if you want me to try the same experiment with something like sparkling or fortified wines. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon in the next video. Ciao!